Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 1416. Hello, it's Mike Matthews broadcasting from Café Anyway, located somewhere in Castro Valley, Today, we will have the wonderful people that come to the cafe and they talk to us, and that's wonderful. I think it's Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, and the Brewmaster. And we'll get to a news segment today.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Called the Short and Sweet FM Project. Fascinating material project.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Here's a question for all of you who drive to work in the morning when you gotta get gas. Isn't it kind of upsetting, deploring when they don't have the gas station pumps working? And then, okay.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Yeah, there's like at 4:30 in the morning, a gas station with absolutely nobody there.
Mike's
to help.
Daily
is what happened.
Podcast.
Excellent. Now.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Folks, we got serious computer issues going on today. Woo! Okay. We'll just jump over here and tell you the podcast picture today is of me with a Pac-Man shirt on. Okay. And then here's the segment called the FM Project.
The Fascinating Material Project.
FM Project.
The FM Project today is about the powerful Venezuelan lawmaker may have issued death order against Rubio. One of Venezuela's most powerful leaders may have put out an order to kill Senator Marco Rubio of Florida, a fervent critic of the South American country's government, according to intelligence obtained by the U.S. last month. Fascinating. Look who walked in. Hi, Mac. It's Benita the Rodeo Queen. Hi, how you doing?
It's a Disgruntled Fiddle Player, tell you what.
What?
I find Marco Polo Rubio is a dashing young man. He could be our president someday.
Really?
Yeah, you know, after Trump is done.
Okay. Well, federal authorities couldn't be sure at the time if the uncorroborated threat was real. They took it seriously enough that Rubio has been guarded by a security detail for several weeks in both Washington
and here's today's podcast picture.
And Miami, me in a Pac-Man shirt, overlooking the wonderful bay. That's what the picture is today. It was from yesterday. It was very cloudy yesterday around the bay. Hey, what can I say? The influential former military chief and lawmaker from the ruling Socialist Party who was publicly feuded with Rubio, that would be Diosdado Cabello, was believed to have issued the order. At a July 19th Senate hearing the same day he was first spotted with more security, Rubio repeated his line that Cabello, who has long been suspected by U.S. authorities of drug trafficking, is the Pablo Escobar of Venezuela. A week ago on Twitter, Cabello, and I'm expecting it to be Cabello, but let's say Cabello, called the senator Narco Rubio. Ooh.
That's terrible.
I know. Look who else is here.
Oh, Mike, I make the delicious root beer. That's a root beer. It's wonderful. Oh, boy.
Excellent. Yeah, so what I think we've realized is that the guy who's here on the weekend does all kinds of weird stuff to the computers, and I can't get them to work, is what happens. So one other interesting story that we have here is to do with Google. They have acquired Synosys, a Seattle-based startup that's been making mobile apps to identify and monitor health conditions without the need for additional hardware. Fronted by Shweta Patel, a computer science and electrical engineer professor at the University of Washington, the company has developed tools to detect jaundice in infants and measure hemoglobins in your blood to screen for diseases like anemia. using just your phone's camera. Another app uses the mic to help diagnose lung problems like asthma and cystic fibrosis. If approved by health regulatory agencies, these apps could make it easy to deploy wellness solutions in developing countries without the need for expensive hardware, testing labs, and accompanying personnel. The acquisition will likely help Google boost its efforts to tackle health issues as part of the company's plans for world domination. This according to the Next Web. Its AI firm DeepMind has been working on machine learning tech to detect eye conditions and help fight blindness. The search giant also gathers fitness data on users' phones and from wearable trackers. I got a wearable tracker from Fitbit that I use that helps me keep my health insurance costs down, because whenever I walk Basil, I have it on and they go, oh, wow, Mike walks a lot with his dog, Basil the Boxer. So therefore, we shouldn't charge him as much as, let's say, Fatty McFat who smokes and eats blubber from the whale. It's worth noting that Google hasn't commented on the acquisition or said where it will place the Synosys team, which counts a little over a dozen people. GeekWire's source said they might be retained in Seattle to work with Google and form the backbone of a digital health project. This is a big thing with all the... Amazon's got something going on as well. And Apple, they've got their health-related wearables and whatnot. So it's fascinating. As we go outside of Café Anyway, we're bringing Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Castro Valley. Shortest show ever? Probably. You want a long show? Listen to yesterday's show, the last show. That was a long one. We covered a bunch of stuff on that one. I have just had enough. I don't think I thoroughly explained what happened at that gas station today. The thing is, in Castro Valley, we got all these crappy gas stations, and this one has the cheapest gas, but it only has 4 pumps, which is hilarious because back in the days when I lived in Alabama, all the gas stations there had like 50 pumps and these massive roofs that came out over you. So when it poured down rain, you'd be completely dry. And the gas was cheap. Always so freaking cheap. The thing is, though, in Alabama, when you drove a long ways to get from point A to point B. Point B would always be so far away. The country mile concept is, longer than a country mile. Country miles are long, and they go on and on and on, and it seemed like I would be driving to give you an idea, the radio station I worked for, like the radio station I work for now, has its sales department we're on the same floor. We're just a few feet away from the sales department. The sales department in Huntsville, Alabama was 30 miles away from where all the on-air stuff was going on, where all the DJs and the music and the programming was happening. The salespeople would have to drive 30 miles to get to us to tell us, what commercials to run, etc. It was a weird, probably not the best setup, but it was a lot of driving, and gas was cheap, and I never saw homeless people except for at the gas station. If they knew that that's where people had money to buy gas, and so that they would show up and they'd be like, "Excuse me, sir, I need a little money to put into my camper so I can keep going and get to the next state." And so that's what would happen in Alabama. Yeah. Did you guys ever go there? Mark, we've been there a bunch of times.
Yeah, we like to go to Talladega.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, we're gonna go right now, but first I gotta go inside and get my root beer from the Brewmaster. There she goes, getting her root beer. So, all that being said, that darn gas station made me late. So that's why this show is short, and why next show we're going to have the wonderful Madame Rootabega, Valentino, and Bison Bentley. Enjoy your week. It's going to be fun. I'm going to see a friend of mine I haven't seen in a while. I worked with at a radio station in the Bay Area, and now he's working for this big FM sports station in the Bay Area. So we are going to have lunch today and discuss radio. I'm sure I'm going to learn a lot of interesting things I didn't know. So that's happening today, and hopefully you have a great day. Brewmaster, thanks for your root beer, as always.
One more for the road.
Sure. Frothy.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!